Hello and welcome to the part 2 of Daily News Simplified. Today we will discuss the articles presented on the screen from The Hindu newspaper dated 4th October 2018. The timestamping for these articles has been provided in the description box below. So let us start our discussion for the part 2 of the Daily News Simplified. This article on page number 1 is related to Niti Aayog's plan to boost tourism in the island territories of India. Now, without getting into the details of Niti Aayog's plan, let us try to understand this topic from geography point of view. So this will form a part of the preliminary examination syllabus under the topic Indian Geography. Now, this topic becomes important for us from prelims point of view because many questions have been asked based on the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands. One aspect in which the questions are asked is related to the geography of these islands. For example, this question in the preliminary exam of 2018 was related to the Barren Island, which is a volcanic island. However, from strategic point of view, this question was asked in the year 2017. So it talked about the strategic location of the Great Nicobar Island of the Andaman and Nicobar. Another question with strategic point of view has been asked in the year 2011. Further, two questions were asked in the year 2014 and one question was asked in the year 2015. So the geography and the strategic location of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands become very important for us from prelims point of view. So let us try to understand some of the basic facts that are related to Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Islands. And at the end of this discussion, we will also try to answer the questions that have been asked in the prelims based on these two important islands. Now this article is in news because the Niti Aayog is planning to build eco cottages and film city to boost tourism in the island territories of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now the information regarding the islands of Bay of Bengal has been taken from NCERT of class 11th. And this reads that the two principal group of islets include the Riches Archipelago and the Labyrinth Island. And they can be seen in the map here. Here is the location of Riches Archipelago in the Andaman Islands. And here is the location of Labyrinth Archipelago, again in the Andaman Islands. Further, the second statement reads, the entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories. The one is the Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. And they are separated by a water body which is called as the 10-degree channel. So this is another important piece of information for us. And as can be seen in this map, the northern group of islands are called the Andamans and the southern group of islands are called as the Nicobar Islands. And they are separated by a water body known as the 10-degree channel. Another important piece of information is that Barren Island is the only active volcano in India and it is situated in the Nicobar Islands. Now if you look at the previous year questions, in the year 2014 a question was asked from the information that we have recently read. The question reads, which one of the following pairs of islands is separated from each other by the 10-degree channel? So the correct answer in this case was the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. Now in the recently held prelims in the 2018, the question was asked related to the Barren Island volcano. Now the first statement reads that the Barren Island volcano is an active volcano located in the Indian territory. So this statement is correct as we have seen in the information related to the island territories in Andaman and Nicobar. The second statement reads, the Barren Island lies about 140 km east of Great Nicobar. Now this information becomes difficult to handle during the exams. So let us put it on hold right now. And let us go to this third statement. The third statement reads, the last time the Barren Island volcano erupted was in 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. Now if you go through the third statement, you will realize that the information given in the NCERT has to be updated with the recent current affairs. And simply googling about the Barren Island volcano, we find that it had recently erupted in the year 2017. This means that the third statement is incorrect. And by this we can easily eliminate the options B, C and D. So the correct option comes out to be 1 only. So even if you have no idea about the second statement, but you are updated with the current affairs related to the third statement, you will be easily able to solve this question. Now another important piece of information that we get from the NCERTs is that some important mountain peaks in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So you should learn the names of these mountain peaks from Andaman and Nicobar Island. And you'd realize that Saddle Peak is the highest peak of Andaman and Nicobar Island. And the three other important peaks and their location are the Mount Diawolo in the Middle Andaman, Mount Koyob in South Andaman, and Mount Thular in Great Nicobar. So locations of these mountain peaks is important for us. And you should also know that the highest peak of Andaman and Nicobar is the Saddle Peak, and it lies in the North Andaman. Now, regarding the important islands of Arabian Sea, there are the Lakshadweep and the Minicoy Island in the Arabian Sea, and these can be seen in the map here. The location of Minicoy Island is here. The second important fact related to the islands of Arabian Sea are that the entire island groups is built of coral deposits. So this is another important set of information for us. The third information is that Minicoy is the largest island in the Arabian Sea, and you can see the location of Minicoy Island in the map here. Further, the entire group of islands is broadly divided by 11th degree channel. To the north of the 11th degree channel is the Aminvi Islands, and to the south is the Kananur Island, and these can be seen in the map here. These are the Aminvi group of islands, and the southern islands are known as the Kananur Islands, and both these are divided by the 11th degree channel. You should also notice that the Minicoy Island is separated from other islands by the 9 degree channel, and the 9 degree channel can be seen in the map here. So these are other important points that can be learned from the NCERT. Now, as you have learned that Lakshadweep is a coral island, we should also gather information related to the major coral reefs of India. And in this line, the first major location of coral reefs is in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The second is in Lakshadweep, as is pointed in the map here. Third is the Gulf of Mannar, and you can see the location of Gulf of Mannar in the map here. And finally, the other important location is Gulf of Kutch, and it can be seen in the map here. Now let us try to solve the questions that were asked in the preliminary examination. Now this question was asked in the year 2015, and the question reads, which one of the following regions of India has a combination of mangrove forests, evergreen forests and deciduous forests? So the correct answer in this case was Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Further, in the year 2014, a question was asked related to coral reefs. And the question reads, which of the following have coral reefs? The first is the Andaman and Nicobar Island, second is the Gulf of Kutch, third is the Gulf of Mannar, and fourth is the Sundarbans. And as we have learned, these are the three important locations of coral reefs. And the Sundarban can be easily eliminated because the conditions present in the Sundarbans are not favorable for the growth of corals. So the correct answer in this case was A, 1, 2 and 3. Now regarding the strategic location of Andaman and Nicobar Island, two questions have been asked in the year 2011 and in the year 2017. The question that was asked in the year 2011 reads, between India and East Asia, the navigation time and distance can be greatly reduced by which of the following? The first statement reads, deepening the Malacca Strait between the Malaysia and Indonesia. And the second statement reads, opening a new canal across the Isthmus of Kra between Gulf of Siam and Andaman Sea. Now if you go through the map, you will see that the location of Andaman Sea is here and the location of Gulf of Siam is here. And this is the location of Isthmus of Kra. And the Strait of Malacca is located at this point. Now the first statement is incorrect because the deepening of the Malacca Straits will not reduce the distance between India and the East Asia. However, the opening of Isthmus of Kra will considerably reduce the distance between India and East Asia. So the correct answer in this case is B, that is 2 only. And regarding the question that was asked in 2017, it reads, which of the following is geographically closest to the Great Nicobar Islands? And if you go through the map, you will find that the correct answer is A, Sumatra, and not the Java, as commonly assumed by everyone. And you can see in the map that Sumatra is located on the eastern side of Indonesia and is located close to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. However, Java is on the western side of Sumatra Island, and it is not geographically closest to the Andaman and Great Nicobar Island. So by solving these questions, we understand that the location of the Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Islands is important for us from preliminary examination point of view. With this, let us move on to the next article. This article on page number 9 highlights the key points of the Prime Minister's speech related to the environment. So this will form a part of the General Studies paper 3 of the mains examination, and it will also help us in writing essays related to environment. So some of the key points that have been highlighted by the Honorable Prime Minister can be used in writing essays. So first let us understand why is this article in news. So this article is in news because the Prime Minister of India has been awarded with the Champions of Earth Award 2018, and he has been awarded because of his policy leadership related to the environment. So first let us try to understand what are the basics of the Champions of Earth Award. Now the Champions of Earth is the highest United Nations honor in the field of environment. Further, the award recognizes outstanding figures from public and private sector as well as civil society. And these outstanding figures are recognized or selected on the basis of their actions which has brought about positive impact on the transformation on environment. Further, about the Champions of Earth Award, it was launched in the year 2005. And you should also know that the award is presented in 5 categories. First is the lifetime achievement, second is the policy leadership, and the Prime Minister of India has been awarded under this category, that is the Policy Leadership Award. The third is the Action and Inspiration, fourth is the Entrepreneurial Vision, and the finally fifth is the Science and Innovation. And since its inception 13 years ago, the award has recognized about 84 laureates. So the key points related to Champions of Earth Award is that it is the highest United Nations honor in the field of environment. Further, it was launched in the year 2005 and it is presented in 5 categories. In his speech, the Prime Minister has highlighted that today the human society stands at an important crossroads where the imbalances between our greed and necessities have led to grave ecological imbalances. So the Prime Minister in his speech has talked about the ecological imbalances, for example, the climate change or the pollution related issues that each and every country of this world is facing. So he has highlighted that 3 things will determine how as a society we can bring a positive change. So he has provided certain suggestions in this regard. So firstly, he talks about the internal consciousness. In this, PM Modi has highlighted various ancient texts and literatures like Atharvaveda, the Panchatattva theory, and he has cited them to show how the respect for nature is at the core of India's tradition. So the PM has highlighted that various ancient texts and literatures show how the respect for nature is at the core of India's tradition. Further, the Prime Minister highlighted that Mahatma Gandhi wrote extensively about environment and he propounded the theory of or the doctrine of trusteeship. And according to this doctrine of trusteeship, the responsibility is on us or the present generation to ensure that our coming generations inherit a clean planet. So the doctrine of trusteeship places the responsibility on the present generation to ensure that the coming generations face a good and clean environment. Further, the PM highlights that leading lifestyles that are harmonious and sustainable with the environment are part of Indian ethos or the part of Indian culture. So he says that once we realize how we are the flag bearers of a rich tradition, it will automatically have a positive impact on our actions. So in short, the Prime Minister has highlighted the ancient texts, literatures and the works of Mahatma Gandhi to rouse the internal consciousness of Indian people towards the environment. Further, to bring about a positive change in society towards the environment, the PM has highlighted the importance of public awareness. In this line, he says that we need to discuss and deliberate on the questions relating to environment. Further, the PM highlights that we need to encourage research and innovation on the subjects relating to environment. And highlighting the importance of public awareness, the PM says that when people are aware about our links with the environment and the issue it faces, they will automatically be proactive in working towards a sustainable environment. And the third point highlighted by the Prime Minister in bringing about a positive change in society towards environment is the proactiveness. And in this line, he says that the proactiveness is seen in the Swachh Bharat mission and which is directly linked to a sustainable future. Further, he highlights that we see this proactiveness in the success of the Ujjwala Yojana. And you should know that the Ujjwala Yojana was related to the LPG connections for the below poverty line. Regarding the success of Ujjwala Yojana, the Prime Minister has highlighted that it has significantly reduced indoor air pollution due to unhealthy cooking practices that were causing respiratory diseases. Further, he highlights that the Namami Gange mission, which is related to the cleaning of the river Ganga, is changing historical wrong of polluting the river, which is its lifeline. Further, the PM has highlighted that the urban development initiatives like the Amrit and the Smart Cities mission balances urban growth with that of environmental care. So the Prime Minister has highlighted many important initiatives of the government in bringing about a positive change towards the environment. So these schemes become important for us and you should try and understand these schemes in detail. Further highlighting the proactiveness of the government, the Prime Minister has highlighted that 13 crore soil health cards have been distributed to the farmers. And these soil health cards are helping them in making informed decisions and this will boost their productivity and improve the health of our land. Now you should know that the disproportionate use of chemical fertilizers was leading to decreased fertility in various green revolution areas. For example, in Punjab, Haryana and Western UP. So by the use of soil health cards, the productivity and the health of our land or the land resources can be improved greatly. So the Prime Minister has highlighted the importance of soil health cards as well. Further, the PM has said that India has integrated the objectives of Skill India in the environmental sector. And in this line, the government has launched the Green Skill Development Program. And this Green Skill Development Program will skill about 7 million youth or the young people in environment, forestry, wildlife, and the climate change sectors by 2021. Further, the PM has highlighted that unparalleled attention has been given to new and renewable sources of energy. And we know that government has already set ambitious target of achieving 175 gigawatt of renewable energy by the year 2022. So in short, the Prime Minister has highlighted the proactiveness of the government in bringing about a positive change towards environment. And under this, he has highlighted the importance of various government initiatives related to environment. So these government initiatives or these schemes become important for us. And you should try and gather data related to all these schemes from prelims as well as mains point of view. Further, the Prime Minister has also highlighted India's international efforts towards the conservation of environment. In this light, he has highlighted that India has remained at the forefront of COP21 negotiations in Paris in 2015. And you should know that it is famously known as the Paris Summit or the Climate Change Conference. And under this, we know that India has provided its nationally determined contributions. So this is another important fact that comes out from the speech of Prime Minister. And you should know in detail about the nationally determined contributions that have been committed by the India under the Paris Summit. Secondly, the Prime Minister has highlighted that in March 2018, Indian Solar Alliance was started, and it was an endeavor to harness the rich potential of solar energy and bring together all nations that are blessed with solar power. So another important international step towards the environmental conservation is the International Solar Alliance Initiative of India. And regarding the climate justice, the Prime Minister has highlighted that when the world is talking just about the climate change, India is also talking about the climate justice. And by climate justice, he says that it is about safeguarding the rights and interests of poor and the marginalized section of the society. And for them, he says that the poor and the marginalized sections of the society are often the biggest sufferers from the menace of climate change. This means that the poor suffer the most from the pollution and the climate change related issues. Further, he has concluded by saying that our actions today will have an impact on the human civilization much beyond our time. So for this, he says that the world needs to shift to a paradigm of environmental philosophy that is anchored in the environmental consciousness rather than merely in the governmental regulations. So he says that there is a need for raising the environmental consciousness rather than increasing the number of government regulations for improving the situation of environment. So let us understand some key facts related to the nationally determined contribution of India under the Paris Agreement. And regarding the NDCs or the nationally determined contributions, these are contributions from individual countries that outline domestic plans to reduce greenhouse gas emissions after the 2020, that is the post-Kyoto Protocol era. And under the India's NDCs, India has promised to reduce its emission intensity, and this emission intensity is the greenhouse gas emissions per unit GDP or the gross domestic product. So the India's target is to reduce this emission intensity by 33 to 35% below the 2005 levels by the year of 2030. Further, India has promised to ensure that at least 40% of its energy in the year 2030 would be generated from non-fossil fuel sources like solar, wind or biofuels. So this is another nationally determined contribution of India. Further, India has promised to rapidly increase its forest cover so that an additional carbon sink equivalent to 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide is created by the year 2030. So these are the nationally determined contributions of India under the Paris Summit. Now the Prime Minister's speech also talked about the International Solar Alliance, and you should know that a question was asked in the year 2016 in the preliminary examination. The question reads, consider the following statements. The first statement is the International Solar Alliance was launched at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in the year 2015. This statement is correct. However, the second statement reads, the alliance includes all the member countries of United Nations. So this statement is incorrect because this agreement has been signed by 68 countries and has been ratified by only 44 countries. So the correct answer in this case is A, that is one only. So after going through this article, we realize that many important policies and schemes have been highlighted. Also, India's international efforts towards environmental conservation have been highlighted in this article. So you should try and learn about all these international initiatives and the important policies and schemes of Government of India towards the environment. With this, let us move on to the next article. This article on page number 7 is in news because of death of lions in the Gir National Park in Gujarat. So this will form a part of the preliminary examination syllabus under the topic General Issues on Environment and Ecology and Biodiversity. Now previously in the year 2017, a question was asked related to the translocation of lions from their natural habitat in Gujarat. So let us try to understand the causes of death of lions and also some facts related to the Gir Lions. Now this article is in news because 23 lions have died in Gujarat's Gir National Park since 12th September. However, the cause of death has not been clearly identified till now. Initially, it was thought that infighting was the major cause of death in lions. And you should understand that infighting among lions generally take place for territorial domination. However, generally the fight for territorial domination is between the male lions. However, it was found that 3 of the lions that died were females. So the infighting theory was discarded. After a study, the National Institute of Virology Pune has found evidence of a viral infection in some blood samples and the tissue samples. And finally, the National Institute of Virology Pune has found that 4 lions died because of canine distemper virus infection, while 17 of the lions died because of babesiosis protozoan infection, which is spread by ticks or the bugs. However, reason for the deaths of 2 lions is yet to be ascertained. So it has become a great cause of concern for the lion conservationists and the forest department. And about the Gir lion, it is a species of the Asiatic lion. Now another important unique fact that is related to the Gir lions is that the population of Gir lions is restricted only to the Gir Forest National Park in the state of Gujarat, and it is found nowhere other than this national park. So it is a unique fact related to these lions. And on the IUCN's red list, it has been listed under the endangered category. And this is because the distribution and the location where they are found is very small in size and the area of occupancy is also very small. So these 2 facts are important for us from prelims point of view. Further, regarding the location of Gir National Park, it can be seen on the map here. This means that it is present in the Kathiawar Peninsula of the Gujarat state. And regarding the question that was asked in 2017, the question reads, recently there was a proposal to translocate some of the lions from their natural habitats in Gujarat to which one of the following sites? So the correct answer in this case was Kuno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary, and this sanctuary is in Madhya Pradesh. And the translocation was being done in order to increase the diversity of their habitats, so that in case of any epidemic, the population of the lions can be conserved or saved. With this, let us move on to the next article. This article on page number 18 reads that Sabratha, which is a Roman Empire site, is at a grave risk as has been declared by the UNESCO. So this will form a part of the preliminary examination syllabus under the topic Events of International Importance, and it will also form a part of the history and culture. So let us try to understand some of the key facts that are related to this important international site of Sabratha. So the first important point to understand here is that the ancient city of Sabratha is located on the edge of Libya's Mediterranean coast. So the location of the Sabratha city is important for us from prelims point of view. Now as you can see in this map, the Sabratha has been highlighted in the red color, and it is located on the Mediterranean Sea in the Libya. Further, it is a World Heritage Site, and in 2016 it was classified as endangered by the UNESCO. Further, the UNESCO based its decision on 2 major factors. The first was the damage that is already caused, and the second is the vulnerability to future destruction. Now, another important fact regarding Sabratha is that it is one of the 3 former cities that constituted Roman Tripolitania. This means that it was a part of the Roman Empire and the other two important cities of the Roman Empire are the Oia or the modern day Tripoli and the Laptis Magna in the western Libya. And this second site was also declared or categorized as endangered by the UNESCO 2 years ago. So the important points to understand are that it is a World Heritage Site and it was declared as endangered by the UNESCO. Further, it was declared endangered based on two factors, that is the damage already caused and the vulnerability to future destruction. Further, there were three important cities of the Roman Empire in Libya. The first is the Sabratha city, the second is the Oia or the modern day Tripoli, the second is the Laptis Magna in western Libya, and the second one has also been declared or categorized as endangered by UNESCO. And regarding the location of Sabratha and Oia, you can see this in the map here. The Sabratha is located very close to Tripoli and the Oia is the modern day Tripoli. And both these are located on the Mediterranean Sea. With this, let us move on to the next article. This article on page number 14 is related to the hike in the minimum support price for the Rabi crops. So this will form a part of the General Studies paper 3 of the mains examination syllabus and it will be part of the subsection minimum support prices. And in the recently held mains examination in the 2018, a question was asked in the General Studies paper 3 related to the minimum support price. The question reads, what do you mean by the minimum support price and how will MSP rescue the farmers from the low income trap? So let us try to understand some of the key points that have been highlighted by this article. Now this article is in news because the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the increase in the minimum support price for all the Rabi crops for the year 2018-19 and which will be marketed in the year 2019-20 season. Now this initiative will give additional return to the farmers of rupees 62,635 crores. And this has been done by the way of increasing the MSP for notified crops to at least 50% return over the cost of production. And this will aid in doubling the farmers' income by 2022. So this article is in news because the MSP for Rabi crops has been increased. Further, the MSP for all the notified crops has been increased by at least 50% return over the cost of production. And this will also help in achieving the goal of doubling the farmers' income by 2022. Now regarding the increase in MSP of various commodities, this table gives us an idea that how the MSP has been hiked for the Rabi crops. For example, for wheat, the production cost is around 866 rupees and the MSP is around 1840 rupees. This means that there will be a return of around 112.5%. Similarly, the MSP has been hiked for other crops as well. Now let us understand the background of this news article. Now recently a new umbrella scheme with the name Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan or PM Asha was announced by the government. And there is a robust mechanism available to enable the farmers to get MSP in their fuller measure. So the details of the scheme PM Asha becomes important for us. Now this umbrella scheme consists of three sub-schemes and these are the Price Support Scheme, Price Deficiency Payment Scheme and the Private Procurement and Stockist Scheme. Now regarding the details of PM Asha or the Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan, you can go through the Daily News Simplified of 13 September 2018 which was discussed by Basawa sir in detail. And regarding the details of the MSP that was declared for the Kharif crops and the formula that was used by the government, you can go through the Daily News Simplified of 9th July 2018 which was discussed by Ankur sir. With this, let us move on to the next article. Now this article on page number 9 is related to the Indian economy under the preliminary examination syllabus and it talks about more liquidity for lending. Under this article talks about the statutory liquidity ratio, the liquidity coverage ratio and the cash reserve ratio or the CRR. Further, it also analyzes why is it in news and can the introduction of changes in the LCR, CRR and SLR help in solving the liquidity crisis in India. Now the details of this article and the liquidity coverage ratio has already been discussed in the Daily News Simplified of 1st October 2018. So you should watch the DNS of 1st October to understand these concepts in detail. With this, let us move on to the next article. This article on page number 13 is related to the relaxation in the norms of external commercial borrowings for the oil firms. So this forms a part of the General Studies paper 3 of the mains examination. Now this article is in news because Recently, the Indian rupee has seen a lot of depreciation. And other than this, the oil prices have also been increasing. So, in order to check the further depreciation of rupee, the RBI and the government has taken out various measures. So, this is one of the measures that has been taken to check the fall of rupee and the increase in oil prices. Now, all the steps that have been taken by the Government of India and the RBI to check the rupee depreciation have been discussed in detail in the Daily News Simplified of 17 September 2018. And it was discussed by Basavasa. So you should try and go through this Daily News Simplified for understanding the various measures that have been taken by the Government of India to check the depreciation or fall of the rupee. With this, we have come to the end of today's discussion. Now let us move on to the question for the day.